Welcome to Judge of Ghana TV. Akwa Baba, Judge of Ghana TV so.
News NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Antwi Boasiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, has expressed gratitude to members of the New Patriotic Party for their unwavering support during his recent detention by the Economic and Organized Crime Office EOCO. His comments follow his release after spending days in custody. Channel 1 News' Hansen Ajuman has more in this report.
Chairman Wontumi, as he is affectionately known, was arrested by EOCO officers on Tuesday, May 29, after a routine visit to the police headquarters, where he was reporting as part of bail conditions in a separate criminal case. Though initial details surrounding his EOCO detention were unclear, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Shamsai later confirmed the investigation involved allegations of fraud and cross-border financial crimes. Wontumi spent 6 days in EOCO custody, reportedly due to delays in meeting a 50 million bail condition, which required 2 sureties, a landed property in Accra. His continued detention sparked significant agitation among party supporters, including protests outside EOCO offices, a minority walkout in parliament, and an attempted visit by NPP flag bearer in the 2024 election, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He was eventually granted bail and released on Monday, with former Agriculture Minister and NPP stalwart Dr. Bryan Acheampong standing as a surety. Wontumi appeared visibly pale upon his release, raising concerns about his health. But on Tuesday, in noticeably better spirits, Chairman Wontumi visited the NPP headquarters to personally thank party executives, grassroots supporters, and sympathizers for their solidarity. He assured them of his well-being, humorously waving and moving his limbs to prove he was fit. He later visited NPP flag bearer in the 2024 election, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to express his appreciation in person.
In this episode of Judge of Ghana, we're going to go through 4 things. Firstly, we will talk about Bernard Antwi Boasiako, Chairman Wontumi. You've just seen the video. Secondly, we'll talk about Ofori-Atta. Thirdly, we'll talk about the Kobna Adu-Boahene criminal case. And fourthly, we'll conclude with some words from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, concerning how he's going to make sure that the quality of his appointees is on point. So let's start with Chairman Wontumi. You've just seen a clip of Chairman Wontumi. Clearly, he looked very weak after he was released on bail on Monday, the 2nd of June, 2025. He had to be shored up by Justin Kodia Frimpong, the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party here in Ghana. And here is you. When you are an accused person or considered to be a suspect in a criminal case or in criminal cases, this is the beginning of the revocation of all your rights. They're beginning to treat you almost like a criminal. So a lot of privileges you had as a free man, you don't get it when you're under police or, national security custody. A lot of your liberties, human rights liberties, you don't have access to it because you're considered to be a threat to society. And there's a saying, there's no smoke without fire. So if you happen to get onto the wrong side of the law, normally they have something they're standing on. It is sad to see because, as I've said before, people consider Bernard Antwi Boasiako, Chairman Wontumi, to be not the sharpest tool in the box. Say you can't try, Rebecca say, Chairman Wontumi, where slow Joe, Sabi, or low IQ side hokakra. Na onjing enko echire. Cause so person who say nipa odo na adwene mu do a utie ne kasa. If you want to know whether somebody is very deep and sharp-minded, listen to their utterances. That will tell you. And if you listen to the litany of controversial, mindless utterances of Chairman Wontumi, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that this man, it seems like the things that people say about him, that he's not the sharpest tool in the box. He's a slow Joe. He's verging on low IQ. It seems like it is heading in that direction. It is sad to say, but it's true. Because some of the mindless things he has spoken about in this country, the shocking comments that were ill thought of, because when you're going to come on any platform, you need to think deeply about what you're going to say. Because words can be life and words can be death. The Bible says life and death lie in the power of the tongue. So you have to be careful how you communicate. And I've told you through this medium of Judge of Ghana that there are 3 things a person needs to master to be successful in life. Communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. If you can master these things, there's nothing you can't succeed at in life. Communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. When you're playing soccer, the teams that excel and win matches are those who are able to communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. If you want to succeed in business, even as an employee in a company, you have to communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. If you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, you have to communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. If you want to succeed in school, you have to be able to communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. So if you want to succeed in ministry, you have to be able to communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. So the 3 C's of life covers all facets of life. So far as we are in this human body that the Most High God has given us, we have to master the 3 C's of life. And with every C that we have in life, we have to do things that will help our course, our plan. Because if you're going to be succeeding in the 3 C's, that means you need to plan and plan your life. So inside these 3 C's is a level of planning. It is clear from the utterances of Chairman Wontumi that he has not mastered these 3 C's. And this is his downfall. Because if anybody is going to get you, it's the things you've said and the things you've done that will find you wanting. As it stands now, there are so many videos that basically convict Chairman Wontumi. If you notice the stance he took when he was released from the CID, Criminal Investigation Department, on bail, before he was the next day arrested by EOCO, Chairman Wontumi said something when he talked to the press after he was granted bail by the CID in Accra headquarters. He said something. He said he showed the police his paperwork, and he said to them that if they have evidence to counter his, they should bring it. Sometimes in life, you think you are being clever, but you don't realize that you're being the biggest fool. This is the situation that Chairman Wontumi finds himself in. He thought he was being clever, but in fact, he has opened a can of worms for the CID and subsequently the EOCO and other investigative bodies in Ghana. This type of utterance does not get you anywhere, especially when you know. Because I always say something. It's not up to me or you. It's not up to me or up to you to call somebody a thief. Do you realize that a thief knows that they're a thief, but they'll never admit to being a thief? For example, if a thief has been stealing for the last 20 years and the strong arm of the law eventually catches hold of him, do you honestly think he's going to admit that he has been a thief for 20 years? He will tell the police that this is the first time that he has stolen, because he hasn't been caught for the last 19 years. And this is the situation that these politically exposed, essentially politically exposed criminals, or people who have been implicated or allegedly been involved in criminal activities will say. But it will not wash, because in criminal court, it's not a case of I'll just deny and I can offer you some money and then it will all go away, and I'll write a disclaimer that even though I've given you a settlement, I'm not guilty of anything and I'll just get away scot-free because I've basically brokered a deal, a peace deal with some monies. In criminal court, it is evidence and facts that will decide your fate. When the authorities, the investigative authorities, provide the evidence and the facts and the witnesses, it is up to you to counter that by bringing superseding evidence. If you fail to bring superseding evidence, almost invariably you'll be found guilty of the crime. So this is what lays ahead for all these politically exposed criminals in the criminal court. It's not an easy situation. People said they noticed that Chairman Wontumi had looked visibly shaken, and it looked like he had some health challenges when he was released from EOCO custody on Monday, the 2nd of June. 2025. Can you believe that when things you didn't expect to happen to you, it becomes like a shock? This is the after effects of shock. I can safely say that Chairman Wontumi was going through shock. He was in shock. The shock of the way the EOCO operatives arrested him at the CID headquarters in Accra, bundled him into a car, took him to their offices, started inquisiting him, started asking him questions, questioning him. And they questioned him from just after 4 p.m. till maybe the evening, like 8, 9, 10. It was so intense. He started wilting. The shock of it all came upon him. There's a saying, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's just the beginning. When the matter goes to court, and perhaps this time, so far as the case doesn't turn to beans, because we have seen great cases that have turned to beans in Ghana. Jail awaits Chairman Wontumi, Bernard Antwi Boasiako. Because the evidences that journalists like Erastus Asaridonko have and have shown the world through their documentaries on Joy News, even if a small percentage of it is true, these are all condemnable acts that deserve prison term. Oh yeah, look, in this world, I can never side with somebody who is ruining our waters and our lands through illegal mining, galamsey. It doesn't matter who you are. And at this time, I plead with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I've featured stories about allegedly persons within the New National Democratic Congress. I have featured stories of persons within the National Democratic Congress, NDC, who are currently the ruling governments, who are engaging in illegal mining. For example, Chairman Kutu, the Western Regional NDC, National Democratic Congress Chairman for the Western Region. The Western Regional Chairman of the NDC. He's allegedly engaging in illegal mining, galamsey. Amaru Shaka showed us a video of one of his sites along the roadside in Bibiani. This is disgraceful. And if we are really Ghana first in our mindset, John Dramani Mahama, you said there will be no sacred cows. You won't show anybody favor. Don't show your own appointees, your own party members any favors if they're engaging in illegal mining, because illegal mining doesn't know that you're in a village or you're in the city. Water connects, and when someone pollutes the water, it is very far-reaching. It reaches almost all parts of the nation through the food chain and the water chain. It even comes through our pipes. So the water we buy outside, whether it's bottled water or sachet water, the water that we drink or use in our taps, they're all polluted. So we can't just cross our hands and cross our legs and say it's not my problem. Illegal mining, Galamsey, is all of our problem, because what is a nation without the people? Look, it is the desire of certain countries that all the people in Ghana are unaligned. They will happily come back to Africa and take over. Don't think that this is not something that can happen. Look at what happened in South Africa with the Afrikaners. They took over South Africa and they abused the black people who were the people who were there before, stamped all over them, brought an apartheid and took over. Look at what happened in a smaller scale in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. They took over everything. Don't think that if we continue in doing Galamsey, this same fate cannot happen here in Ghana. Look, white men have the technology. The West has the technology to clean the waters, and they have the technology to extract the gold without damaging the water and the land. That technology is available to anybody who can afford it. And all the large mining companies have access to this technology and are using it to do clean, responsible mining. As I've always said on this channel, if we cannot extract gold in a responsible, clean way, it's better off in the ground. Let's just do agriculture. Yankodo. Yankodo. Because a krobi wawa, omuni gold, omuni she, and so mado in your sika tam. In your muhu tam free sika. Sika. When sika say tam. So mado in your sika say tam. And he said, Ghana for yen to me, ye gold no in a clean way, a responsible way. Yen jan or form ho. Cause gold ye and koda. See, yami de shroud with the shroud. Da, you bet me gather and crowfoa or more the financial power to start up an Ashanti gold or gold field in Ghana. They should get together, even if it's 100 people, and set up a proper company that can dig deep and mine. Otherwise, the gold is better off in the ground. And the yendo, let's do agriculture. Yes. Our ancestors used to extract gold. We have seen the return of all the gold artifacts from the United Kingdom to the Ashanti Kingdom. And these were taken out of the ground by our ancestors. But they didn't spoil the water and the lands. So I cannot condone anybody, whoever you are. They even said that the MP for Alwyn is also part of the Galamsey. I've heard so many people, if you go to the streets, I was talking to this man who sells spectacles on the streets of Accra the other day, and he said, Madam, this Galamsey issue, it is both National Democratic Congress and New Patriotic Party people who are doing it. And Professor Ofori-Atta report stressed this. So this is not a one party is deserved whatever. Fine, you've caught Chairman Wontumi and you're taking him through the steps to arraign him to court. But there are many Chairman Wontumis or emerging Chairman Wontumis. Even some of them are New Patriot National Democratic Congress persons, not just New Patriotic Party. Round all of them up and deal with them. Also take them through the same steps you have taken Chairman Wontumi through. Don't show any favor to anybody, because what they are doing, it is harmful to all of us, including the future Ghanaians yet to be born. I always refer back to the book of Exodus. I think it's Exodus 7, if my memory serves me correct. When God commanded Moses to turn all the waters in Egypt into blood. They said this thing happened for 1 week. All the people were practically dying. So imagine doing galamsey for how many years? 30 years? 32 years? 28 years? It's far too long. It has to stop now. Stop galamsey now. It's very relevant today. It can never pass until galamsey truly stops. And if our leaders are harboring criminals who are killing the people, it's also got repercussions, spiritual and physical repercussions. And this 24-hour economy is not going to work when the people who need to do the work for the 24-hour economy are either unalived by galamsey or sick. We are doing this Mahama case because of people have got these diseases and stuff. Ghana never had these problems in the past. Our ancestors never had these illnesses because we weren't doing illegal mining. Illegal mining is what has led to the, massive increase in dialysis issues, kidney issues, all these health challenges. Nananom obutumi di kontombre ene body ene bayre kakra ye di efufu kakra, and they were okay. They were never sick. They lived to be old and healthy. They lived long, became old and healthy, and lived very well. They were very healthy. But now people are just dying, getting all these diseases that cannot be dealt with. Don't have any medicines. Incurable diseases because of illegal mining. When is it going to end? Let's stop it now. So me, I don't have any sympathy for Chairman Wontumi. The end and Brandon Indi. One less menace. Because we have to eradicate this galamsey menace. And all these people who are menace to society, whether they are NPP or NDC, let's get rid of all of them out of the system. Let's get rid of and stop galamsey now. That's my take on it. People were saying that, it looks like he's got some health challenges. Is he not doing the same thing that allegedly? Former president of blessed memory, John Evans Atta Mills, did. When people mentioned that he had health challenges, what did John Evans Fifi Atta Mills do? He came and did some exercises in front of the cameras to prove otherwise, and in the end, look at what happened. I'm not laughing at his sickness or anything, but I'm just saying that what Chairman Wontumi is doing by coming to New Patriotic Party office in Accra and moving his legs up and down, left and right, shaking everybody's hands, showing that he's okay, he's fit and healthy. Is it not the same thing? It seems very similar. So, anyway, we pray that he has long, healthy life, because I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I want justice to be served, because I believe in Psalm 33, verse 5. It says, God loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of his goodness. I want righteousness and justice to prevail on earth, and the goodness of God should be seen, so that we can all enjoy it. Because the most important thing in life is peace of mind. It's not the money that you have, but when you have peace, you can actually think, you can get things done. You need peace of mind, because when you have peace of mind, it even helps to boost your health. And there's a saying, health is wealth. So peace of mind is so necessary, because if the head is rotten, everything else is rotten. So we need peace of mind. And I believe that the Bible says we should do unto others as we would like to be done unto us. I don't think anybody who's engaged in illegal mining, galamsey, would like to suffer the diseases that are the results of the works of galamsey. But you want to enjoy the benefits. How is that going to work? And it's clear, if you are engaged in illegal mining, that means you don't love your neighbor like yourself. Because you want to damage the water and the lands, and people to be unalived as a result of this. And you to be okay, enriched, and your family to be okay out of galamsey. How is that going to work? Even God in heaven is marking you, and you are failing the test, let alone man on earth. So, though it's sad that Bernard Antwi Boasiako, Chairman Wontumi, came out of EOCO's cells looking weak and haggard and disorientated, still, justice should be served, because looking at what people are saying and the alleged evidences people have, Chairman Wontumi, Wayabone. Now, also nya bone so aketua. Chairman Wontumi has done a lot of bad things. And what amazes me is what he said the other day. I was watching some of his old videos or comments he has made. He said the difference between illegal mining and legal mining is the paperwork. What nonsense. What boulder dash. In kwasesembe na papeyi king. He thinks he can hide behind a document. That is his mindset. Is it any wonder when he left CID custody and gave his press briefing, he said he's got his paperwork correct? Look, a lot of people are hiding behind paperwork, but they are criminals. The question is, how do you get the paperwork? Is the paperwork work legitimately acquired? Are the things that are stipulated in the paperwork, are you actually doing them? If you're not, it's still illegal. The paperwork won't save you. So far as there's evidence that you were doing something contrary to the paperwork. So Chairman Wontumi, that is a non-starter of an argument. It will not stand anywhere, and certainly not in court. If this is your argument, that your paperwork is correct, when we all know that you had clearing agents in former President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, whatever his appointees do, this man will clear them. He will clear them. They can't do any mistake in his eyes. That is why we are in the situation we are. And by the grace of God, things are changing. So, just because you have covered your criminality with legal paperwork from your friends and cronies who were covering you, doesn't mean that you did what was right and proper under the guise of legality. It's the evidence that proves that what you have done is illegal. That is what is going to send you to jail. So that argument you are saying, speaking of to journalists, it's not going to wash. It's not going to wash. If that was the case, that argument would wash, then nobody is a criminal. Because a lot of people couch their criminality with legal documents, which mostly are fraudulent. Oh yeah, or fraudulently acquired. So these days, the people, the youth in Ghana and the people of Ghana, and the level of insight we have now, you can't cheat us anymore. There's a saying in Twi, agronigua, kwasienitia, agroni egu. There's a saying in Twi, say, kwasienitia, agroni egu. And then happen. That's what's happening to Ghana. They say, Yeniate. We have shined our eyes wide. We are watching you. That kind of foolishness is not going to work. And if I look at the people who were saying free Chairman Wontumi now, even your radio station, Movement TV, Wontumi TV, they were the ones shouting after John Mahama won the elections last year that your presenters that no one should come and say free whoever now and all those things. Look what they ate their own words. We're doing free Chairman Wontumi now. But their own words were fighting against them. In this world, do what is right and proper, so your words will not fight against you. It's a shame, but this is how things go. I just pray that, more people who hide behind political parties are brought to justice. Because, let's face it, as I've always said, 99% of criminal cases in society are procurement fraud issues. In procuring something, whether it's a property, a car, a contract, a service, they fiddle with the numbers and indulge in fraud. That is the bane of Ghana. The corruption is about procurement fraud. Procuring. So, no, edi Ghana procurement fraud. Procurement fraud. Me, I'm a specialist, and let's face it, that's what the problem is. The problem in this country is procurement fraud. Asa. And it's obi din some phone. No, person we be me. Want to mean dribble me. I might not be a lawyer, but about procurement there, me A1. Nacho. So we are my Japadia, you will never succeed, because I understand procurement law. That's what I majored in. So when I say procurement fraud is the problem of Ghana, our corruption is 99% procurement fraud. You have a problem of You have a big problem. And people think they're so clever. Sometimes you wonder how certain people just suddenly became very wealthy. It's not for procurement fraud. If you look at the allegations that have been put forward against Chairman Wontumi, at the heart of it is procurement fraud. You go and put a proposal together to Exim Bank. They give you $10 million, allegedly. Maybe they didn't give you all the money, but hey, whatever. Let's say they gave you 10 million. You don't know the details, so it's alleged. And to go and do a farm, a corn farm. And then you take the money, you don't do the farm, and you divert it to something else. And you come and stand and talk to the press at the CID office that you have done nothing wrong. And then when you're arrested in EOCO, that same evening, your lawyer, Antwi Boasiako, comes, gives a press conference saying that you've taken ill, and they've also received a summons, a civil summons from Exim Bank concerning your fraudulent dealings. So Exim Bank have taken a stance to take you civil to get their monies. They are not interested because in civil courts, it doesn't end up in prison. Very few civil cases end up in prison, but some civil cases can lead you to prison. Oh yeah, because when they look at the civil case and the gravity of the criminality that has gone on in the civil case, the judge can make an order, or the Chief Justice can make an order for you to be further investigation should be made, and you should be jailed as well. Both civil and criminal cases can be concurrent. If you look at the Puff Daddy case, he has settled out of court in civil cases with certain people in the music industry. However, the government of the United States has decided to take him on a criminal level as well. So just because I was listening to Antwi Boasiako, the lawyer for Chairman Wontumi, and he said something. He said, oh, now that they've got a civil summons from Exim Bank, they would like to take away the criminality of the Exim Bank monies that were essentially stolen. Because if you take money for a certain purpose and you don't do it, you have stolen the money. So that they take it from the criminal case. Look, if there's any justice, Chairman Wontumi can also be criminalized for the fraud. Not just civil, but the fraud that he engaged in regarding Exim Bank. Both cases can be run concurrently. If Puff Daddy, Sean Puffy Combs' case, he had civil settlements and now they're doing criminal case. It's ongoing as we speak. Why can't it be the same in Ghana here? I've noticed something about our police here. They like to try to coax people to take things civil when the case is clearly criminal. That is why Ghana is not going well. That's why people say, make a comment that in Bryan Acheampong Ghana, because a clearly criminal case can be lowered to civil because the police, the way the police will act, even sometimes the way the Attorney General's office will act, the people become so frustrated, they decide to go civil. And civil, the most you get is a monetary compensation. And then they'll say, oh, if you have settled civilly, then there's no need to go criminal. Who told you? Go and look in the UK and in the US. People have settled civilly, but they have been taken on criminally. Apart from Sean Puffy Combs, also that musician, what's his name? Oh, I forget his name. He's in prison as we speak. The one that sang I Believe I Can Fly. I believe I can fly. Let me see. Let me check on my computer what his name is. R. Kelly, Robert Kelly. The person that sang I Believe I Can Fly, Robert Kelly. He settled a lot of civil cases, but subsequently he was sentenced on criminal charges concerning the same matters. So why can't we jail people for crimes as well as them losing out on compensation in the civil courts? We should be able to do both at the same time or one after the other. There's no reason why if you settle and pay some compensation in civil court, there shouldn't be another criminal case taking place. If they did it against Sean Puffy Combs, they're doing it against Sean Puffy Combs, and they've done it against R. Kelly, Robert Kelly, then why can't we have the same in Ghana? We need to have more of these cases going on because there are too many criminals in the system, and they think they can beat the system by coercing people to go civil when it's clearly criminal. The way to root out corruption and criminality is to jail them, take them to court and jail them because they don't have evidence to supersede the criminal evidence that has been provided to the court. Let's do more of that, or else this country is going to the dogs. Ghana is doomed if this doesn't happen. We need to see more, and we need to have police officers we need to stop police officers that keep advising people who have been criminalized to go civil. That nonsense must stop. When something is criminal, it's criminal. For example, this Mr. George Otibonsu, demolition of his property by Samira Baumia and her brother Abu Ramadan. This is clearly criminal. There's no need to go civil about it. And even if there's a civil case ongoing, you could still make it a criminal case because the way they engaged the security forces, soldiers and police, bomb rushed the buildings, the 10 buildings of Mr. Otibonsu in Ajigano and demolished it because they were in power and they felt they could do what they wanted and they're above the law. Jailing them will prove that no one is above the law. And this is what we need. We need equity in law, not favor. Mr. President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you said you are not going to have any sacred cows. If somebody engages in criminality, the property is obviously not theirs, and they go there and destroy someone's property, it is criminal. Look, it's not everybody that's after your money. They just want justice. To me, justice is more important than monetary gain. After I've got justice, if I later on want extra monetary gain, then fine. But I might not even want it. There was a case some months ago, I think it was last year, in the United Kingdom. It was a Nigerian politician took somebody from Nigeria. They took them on a proviso that they were going to help them to get a job in the UK. And when they went to the UK, they tried to organ harvest one of their kidneys for their wives. And the police swooped in onto the issue. The Nigerian politician and his wife were jailed. And the victim, the person they almost harvested his organs, the Nigerian person, they did a criminal case. They convicted the Nigerian politician and his wife. And the person and whoever was involved, they jailed them. And the young person who was brought from Nigeria to come and do the organ harvesting on a they sort of tricked him and gave him a wrong story, a different story, and tried to find a way to coerce him to provide the kidney. The judge said in his closing statement that we have made it clear to the victim that he can get compensation through the civil courts concerning this case, but the victim has chosen not to get any compensation. He just wants to start his life afresh. And, you know, in the British system, now he has arrived in the UK. So the judge said that that's the decision of the victim. So not all victims are looking for monetary compensation. So what the police do, try to tell people that, go civil. Firstly, when you go civil, you need to have the money to go civil. Our lawyers in Ghana here, there are no human rights lawyers. Those who claim to be human rights lawyers are fake. They're just faking it. There are no human rights lawyers in Ghana. So when you go civil, it's going to be a financial burden. Not everybody is prepared to. They might have the money, but they're not prepared to go through the stress. Because all these can bring diseases as well. Yes. Stress of all these things. So let's look at the criminal justice system in a different way and deal with criminals in a criminal way and stop all this, go civil. The number of times the police will tell you to go civil and they'll tell other people to go civil. It's incredible. It's like they don't want to get themselves into any criminal cases, especially when the people are politically exposed people. The people involved, the criminals or the suspects are politically exposed person. Go civil. Because they know they're going to waste your time. The case is going to be 10, 12 years. Ridiculous. Why should a civil case take 10, 12 years? Why should a criminal case take 10, 12 years? All this is rubbish. And I'm sorry, if this is what we're going to do with all these investigations we are doing, we're going to go to court and these cases are going to take 10 years when it could be a matter of weeks. With all this evidence, it's going to take you 10 years.
By a letter dated 28th May 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers informed the special prosecutor has diagnosed Mr. Ofori-Atta with cancer and has earmarked 13 June 2025 for surgery, for which reason he would be unable to return to the jurisdiction as scheduled. His lawyer stated that to the knowledge of the OSP, this change in circumstances has been brought to the attention of the court, before which Mr. Ofori-Atta is presently pursuing a human rights claim against the OSP and the special prosecutor. His lawyer stated further that in order not to hold the office back in the performance of his function, they had Mr. Ofori-Atta's instructions of his readiness to go through video recorded interview for the purpose of eliciting his caution statement. His lawyers offered to meet the special prosecutor in person or approach the bench for the purpose of viewing Mr. Ofori-Atta's biopsy report, whichever suited the special prosecutor. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the media, this is where we are now. And let us step back a bit from the 28th May 2025 letter from Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers and place the matters in their proper context. I have intentionally went through a tedious timeline. The letter from Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers, dated 18 February 2025, clearly indicated that the possible surgical intervention to be performed on him was to occur on 20 and 21 March 2025, upon which reckoning the OSP carefully considered the recovery period and indulgently pushed Mr. Ofori-Atta's attendance at the OSP to 2 June 2025. Therefore, Mr. Ofori-Atta had a duty to promptly inform the OSP of any fundamental change in his medical circumstances on 21 March 2025, when the advertised surgical intervention was not performed, to enable the OSP reschedule a new date of his attendance at the OSP to accommodate any such material changes in his medical condition and treatment itinerary. Mr. Ofori-Atta has known at least since 21 March 2025, that no surgical procedure was to be performed on him in March. Yet, he purposely sat by indolently and chose not to inform the OSP of such fundamental changes in his circumstances. Instead, about 67 days after learning of the alleged changed circumstances around 21 March 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta elected to spring a surprise on the OSP on 28 May 2025, just 6 days before his scheduled attendance at the OSP, by offering to undergo a video recorded interview and a viewing of his biopsy report. Now, back to the 28 May 2025 letter from the lawyers of Mr. Ofori-Atta. As I said, this is where we are. By a letter dated 30 May 2025, the OSP declined Mr. Ofori-Atta's offer of video recorded interview for the purpose of eliciting his caution statement. This office has always insisted on his personal attendance, and we have indicated clearly to him that we are unwilling to waive it. If we were amenable to taking any such statement from Mr. Ofori-Atta in absentia, we would have done so in February and not waited to 2 June 2025. We want him here physically, and we insist on it. A suspect in a criminal investigation does not pick and choose how the investigative authority should conduct its investigations and the method suitable to him and his convenience. We will not countenance such conduct, not in this case or in any other case. Further, the OSP has declined Mr. Ofori-Atta's invitation to view his biopsy report, as we consider it a pointless exercise. This is because it is common learning that the biopsy report contains nothing more than a conclusion upon the removal and examination of tissue, cells, or fluids from a living body that some disease or malady was indicated in the samples taken.
That the real reason why they want him physically present is because they want to arrest him.
Okay. The fundamental question again would be, in the absence, whether or not in the absence of Ken Ofori-Atta, they can make progress in terms of their case. When you look at Act 29, they don't need Ken Ofori-Atta's arrest before proceeding against him. Act 30, when you look at Act 30, they don't need his presence before arresting him. In fact, my brother, if the presence of Ken Ofori-Atta is necessary for determining a prima facie case in the whole investigations, then clearly the case of the OSP against Ken Ofori-Atta is weak, because it would then seem that without Ken Ofori-Atta making an input into the investigations, they cannot proceed. Don't forget, under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, Ken Ofori-Atta has a right not to incriminate himself. So he has a right to remain silent. So what if you arrest him for the purposes of interview and he says he will not talk? Is it a case that then you cannot proceed because he decides to keep quiet? I think that the approach ought to vary. The approach ought to vary. Even if you want to arrest him, bait him. You see, there is a proverb in Chi. Se kontompo nisi onu betru mrika manindi kain preko. Right? So it seems that Ken and his lawyers have been detecting the pace. You are an investigative body. There are times when investigative bodies pretend to tag along and not show force, not show of authority necessarily. They can pretend to tag along before you realize they've hanged you in a gallows. And that is why I think that the approach adopted by the OSP, for me, needs to be varied. Okay. It needs to be varied in the public interest for the purposes of getting us results.
Then now let's talk about Ken Ofori-Atta. Ken Ofori-Atta. Oh God. This dribbling, he's trying to dribble the special prosecutor, Kisia Jabin. Ken Ofori-Atta is attempting to dribble the special prosecutor of the Republic of Ghana, Kisia Jabin. He's trying to give him the dribble to make a getaway. Yeah, Ken Ofori-Atta. Just like Wontumi, liars. The evidence points to criminality having taken place. He knows he's a criminal because a thief knows he's a thief. You know you're a thief because you know what you have been doing. Everybody knows who they are. That's why the Bible says that your spirit will bear testament with you that you are what you are. If you're a child of God, you know you're a child of God because your spirit bears testament that you're a child of God. If you're a criminal, you know you're a criminal because your spirit bears testament you're a criminal. Do you think that Ken Ofori-Atta doesn't know he's a criminal? Do you think that Wontumi doesn't know he has engaged in criminality and galamsey? He doesn't know. They know. They know. Their spirit bears witness with them that they are criminals. Their spirit bears witness with them that they are thieves if they have stolen. They know. Their spirit bears witness to them is that they have unjustly enriched themselves. Their spirit bears witness to them that they have diverted funds. A criminal knows they are criminal. Every criminal knows they are criminal because chromophobia anywhere only so a chromophobia. Whatever you are, you know you are that thing because your spirit bears witness with you that you are that thing. You know. No one has to tell you that you are the thief. You can lie and tell people that, oh, this is the first time I've stolen. But you know you have been stealing for the last 20 years. You know. Do we have to tell you that you're a thief? You know you're a thief. And when the evidences are brought to light, then it's clear you're a thief. And there should be no sacred cows. When you are found out, you should be dealt with. Kisi Agyapong has been very, very kind so far to Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister of the Republic of Ghana. He has been very kind. But I think now he himself has made his decision. If you listen to his press conference, he has made his decision that he's not going to tolerate this nonsense that Ken Ofori-Atta is engaging in and his lawyers are engaging in anymore. And I believe we will see action. Because there's a saying, action speaks louder than words. It's time for action. Special Prosecutor Kisi Agyapong, stop the talking and just act. Decide how you're going to locate Ken Ofori-Atta, get him extradited back to Ghana. Look, any lawyer or NPP politician like Bafwebia saying that, oh, they can start their case even if the person's not around. Nonsense. What did New Patriotic Party government under Nana Akufo-Addo achieve when they jailed Tsunami, ex-Maslog CEO, Tsunami Tamaklo, Ationu Tamaklo? What purpose? How do you achieve anything if you jail somebody in absentia? They are enjoying their freedom. So what's the point? To waste the resources of the nation on absentee court case when you can extradite them back to Ghana to face justice. Have you not seen? If you go to Kofi.com, and I've put it down below at the bottom of this broadcast. Go to Kofi.com/Coach Wright. I've written it's free to download, an ebook about criminal or high-profile criminal cases in the 54 nations of Africa. If you look at the way they treated Hosni Mubarak in Egypt, when they brought him before the criminal court, he was on a sick. They literally wheeled him into the court on his sick bed. They wheeled the sick bed to the court to undertake his criminal case. So, Ken Ofori-Atta can be enjoying fresh air and going to restaurants in Baker Street in the UK days before he's supposed to come back to Ghana and face the special prosecutor on the 2nd of June. He was spotted in London in Baker Street restaurant eating and enjoying himself. Now he's talking about he's got cancer. How about the one that was on the sick bed that was wheeled into criminal court? Hosni Mubarak, the former president of Egypt, to face the law. Ken Ofori-Atta, you ain't seen nothing yet. Said the name Tamaklu Ationu. The judgment that you got is of no consequence. So far as she's enjoying herself and her freedom. And I don't know when there's going to be an extradition to bring her back to Ghana to face prison. Me, I always say, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If you are intending to bring Ken Ofori-Atta back to face the law for purported crimes, then bring Sedinam Tamaklu Etionu back to Ghana to also face the law. Me, I'm not interested in parties. Me, it's Ghana first in this place. NDC, NPP, we are not interested. Bring Sedinam Tamaklu Etionu back to Ghana to also face the law. Put her on wanted, like how you have put Ken Ofori-Atta on wanted. Put Sedinam Etionu, Tamaklu Etionu on wanted too, and bring her back to Ghana. Then we know that Ghana first is really working in this country, and it's not as people are perceiving political persecution. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Bring her back to face her jail time, her 10 years or whatever they've given her. Yes. Then we know the law is working. Let the law work. For Ghana. That's what we want for Ghana. Let the law work. Bring her back. Bring ex-Maslog back. Boss. Bring ex-Maslog boss. Sedinam Tamaklu Etionu back to Ghana to face the law. Put her on wanted, like how you put Ken Ofori-Atta on wanted, and bring her back, drag her back to Ghana to face jail in Ghana. Look at what they did to Hajia for real. She was in the UK. And the American authorities brought her back to the US to face the law for her romance scams. That is what we have to do in Ghana. Otherwise, people will just get away, do crimes and get away scot-free. They should face the law. Justice must be seen to be served. Look, I said something and I keep saying it. Sometimes it's not the matter, the details of the matter that matter, but it's the perception. If the optics don't look right, the optics don't look right. Nobody is talking about Sedinam Tamaklu Etionu. Nobody is talking about Sedinam Tamaklu Etionu. But she's also a fugitive. They should bring her back. Because the courts have declared that if she feels that she hasn't done anything wrong, she can appeal it. Appeal the judgment. But until that, she's a fugitive. Oh yeah, bring her back to face justice. Let's just concentrate on Ken Ofori-Atta. When Sedinam Tamaklu Etionu is at large. Debbie, that is not justice being fair and all being equal before the law. No. Let's all be equal before the law. Udi in some form, udi in some money, we are criminality. Come and face your judgments in Ghana. No country in the world does video conferencing with criminals. Where did New Patriotic Party get this notion that they can do conference call with criminals? Nonsense. With suspects. When you're a suspect, it becomes the beginning of the curtailing of all your civil liberties. It's the beginning, because if the evidence is strong, you're on your way to jail. It's only a matter of time. Oh yeah, when the matter goes to court, it's only a matter of time, you'll be jailed. Somebody called, there's a company called Theranos, and there's a lady called Elizabeth Holmes. She tried to say she was pregnant, she had a baby, and tried to use that to find a way not to go to cells. They jailed her. Let's see those kinds of, justice being done in this country called Ghana. We are fed up. When somebody is doing fraud and criminality, let's forget about their party colors and jail them. Let's jail them. Let's jail them.
The state has filed witness statements in the ongoing prosecution of the former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Adu-Boahene, his wife Angela Boateng, their associate Boateng, and a company jointly owned by Adu-Boahene and his wife, Advantage Solutions. The four are standing trial on charges of stealing, causing financial loss to the state, and conspiracy. Channel One News has cited three of the witness statements which were submitted by the case investigator Frank Marshall Crowell, the director of finance at the National Signals Bureau, Edith Ruby, and Frank Anane Dikpe, an errand boy for the accused persons. Now, according to the investigator's statement, the accused collectively diverted state funds amounting to 49 million Ghana cedis under the pretext of procuring a cybersecurity defense system. In her statement, the director of Ruby Adumwa alleged that her former boss, Kwabena Adu-Boahene, was involved in a series of suspicious transactions corresponding to the amount allegedly misappropriated.
And with Kwabena Adu-Boahene, his case, the Republic of Ghana has filed some evidences against Kwabena Adu-Boahene, his wife Angela Boateng, and Mildred Odonko, and their company, Advantage Solutions. A company is also a separate person. The company, Advantage Solution, is owned by Kwabena Adu-Boahene and his wife. But they have taken the company to court, criminal court separately, because it's seen as a person in law. So they filed their witness evidences against them. People within the National Signals Bureau have testified against Kwabena Adu-Boahene, saying that what he did was criminal and fraudulent. So that has gone on. So that's the update. Also, President John Dramani Mahama said he's going to train all his appointees. He's organizing training for them. And I think that's a good step. I mentioned this in one of my earlier videos, that when you put together a code of conduct, you've got to train the people. And I see that this is what is happening. So I thank God for that. So
one of the major problems that was affecting our fight against corruption was political interference. The anti-corruption agencies were not allowed to do their duty without being interfered with by the political elite. And there was a clear case in point when the special prosecutor came and said that the president had called him and asked him to stop a certain investigation, and the Minister of Finance had gone to his house to try to influence him to stop the investigation into the Ajapa, we call it the Ajapa deal. And so clearly, I mean, in the past there was an effort to interfere with the fight against corruption and restrain some of the anti-corruption agencies from doing their work. I have told the public and assured my Attorney General and Minister of Justice then I'm not going to interfere in their work. And that if the anti-corruption agencies go after anybody, I'm not going to try and influence them to drop any investigation against anybody, both for those who served in the previous regime, many cases of which we are currently investigating.
The president revealed that the 8-member Constitutional Review Committee is expected to submit its report in August.
Our assets declaration regime has not been effective because assets are declared, put in envelopes, the envelopes are sealed and put in drawers, and that's the end of it. There's no follow-up in terms of verifying that those assets are really exactly what have been declared. And so we are expecting the report of the Constitutional Review Committee in August. And I'm sure that some of the recommendations will cover issues to do with assets declaration and other means to support the fight against corruption.
So this ends this episode. Go to Ko-fi.coach and download the freebies about corruption and about leadership, because our problem in Africa is leadership. So, as I always say, see you in the next episode and bye for now. Ghana first, always. Bye.